One thing is certain. If you stick to the word, you will come back with a testimony. What God wants to give. Find the eagle's wings in Daniel. They're referring to the same thing. So, they understand exactly this spiritual language, this spiritual communication. Never before had they brought all of these things together in one beast. They've often had different, they put maybe a tiger with an eagle's head. They can have things like that. A dragon with some other. They've had all those mixes. But finally, they come to tell us they're fully mature and the time is here. And so they take it to the United Nations and establish their presence. Now, where else they're going to take it to? Well, we will know. They've currently moved it from there. It was in Rockefeller. And I showed you about the word translated sorcery is there, pharmakia. Now, if you would look at maybe just read. Do you have the CJB, the Complete Jewish Bible? Just that part. Just that part I want to read to you. The Revelation 18:23. Go to Revelation 18:23. Yeah, the light of a lamp will never again shine in you. The voice of the bridegroom and bride will never again be heard in you, for your businessmen were the most powerful on earth. So those merchants are talking about, he says they were the most powerful businessmen on earth. These are the merchants of Tarshish. Now you go back to Revelation, Ezekiel chapter 38, and see something quite interesting here. In that verse 13 where we're reading, Sheba and Dedan and the merchants of Tarshish with all the young lions thereof, well, I already showed you, it's with the villages, shall say unto thee, watch, this is their opposition. I told you, I said, look what they do. Art thou come, they're going to say to Russia and Russia's allies, art thou come to take a spoil? Hast thou gathered thy company to take a spoil? Just exactly what they're doing right now. To carry away silver and gold? Are you here to invade? And to take away cattle and goods to take a great spoil? Look at verse 14. Nothing happens. They don't do anything. They ask questions and it's over. They don't fight. So, God is showing us what God's showing us. Because right away, God says, therefore, son of man, prophesy. Why? Because it says, those political leaders are feckless and they are toothless. But he's saying to the Gog, I am the one bringing you here. So he says, I'm the one. Again, therefore, son of man, prophesy and say unto God, thus saith the Lord God, in that day when my people of Israel dwelleth safely, thou shalt not know it, or shalt thou not know it? It says, you know. It says, and thou shalt come from thy place out of the north parts. This is why we say it's Russia. Why? Because of this terminology here. Now, look at it from the Amplified Translation for a second. And you will come from your place out of the uttermost north parts, or uttermost parts of the north. The uttermost parts. That means the northernmost parts of Israel. Because it says Israel, he calls it the midst of the nations. So, meaning that it's the center of the central point of all nations in God's prophetic calendar and prophetic geography. So he locates Israel, Jerusalem, as the middle of all the nations. And it says, this enemy, Gog, is coming from the outermost parts of the north. And you look northward of Jerusalem, the outermost part, just look northward. That means the farthest north, what you have is Moscow. Moscow is what you have there. It's the capital of Russia. And God said it will happen in the last years, in the final years. And if that's what's going to happen in the final years, then it's not going to be any of those former nations. It's going to be what's there at the time of the prophetic prediction.